Hey, I am at the very spooky, scary Valve Software booth at E3, and Chet Falasek, Valve Software, I'm a little confused. So, you guys put out Left 4 Dead last November.
Correct.
You just announced Left 4 Dead 2 for this November. You guys are Valve. You don't turn games around in 1 year. Like, I thought I knew you guys. What is going on here?
That's so much fun the first time, right? We had to come back to it. No, so one of the things Left 4 Dead 1 did was kind of combine the storytelling of Half-Life with the multiplayer of Counter-Strike. We thought we did a pretty good job, but we wanted to do even more this time around, right? And so when we looked at doing more of an update, it's not like Team Fortress, you can just do like one map and it's kind of self-contained, right? So you start talking about a couple of maps in a campaign. And then you start saying, well, we want to go to a different part of the world. We want to we were looking at the Deep South. And so all of a sudden then you're talking about multiple campaigns. And you want to have new characters. And then all of a sudden once you're down there, well, the virus is mutating. So you're going to have new creatures. You're going to have new special infected. You're going to have new regular infected. And then there's a bunch of us, working on Left 4 Dead. As we're shipping, the team grows. And then at the end of shipping, we all kind of take a week off or so, and then we look back and you get to pick whatever you want to work on at Valve. And everyone on Left 4 Dead team was like, I want to do more Left 4 Dead. We just got this down. We understand how to do this. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of ideas we have and a whole bunch of things we want to do. But the problem is, some of them aren't really short-term. Some of them are long-term. Big changes to the director. We have Director 2.0. We can actually change the architecture. So you can go through a map and it'll be different every time. Not the entire map, because it just randomly generated. It's going to feel like randomly generated. But we take intelligence sections and we rework them, right? We have things like weather effects, which at first you're like, I played in the rain, big deal. But you haven't played in a good southern, thunderstorm where all of a sudden you're blinded and it's claustrophobic and you don't know what's going on. And also you have the infected are spawning a little bit different. And you have the special infected, like the Charger now, and it's playable as the infected as well when you're playing in versus, right? And we have 5 campaigns, all are playable in versus, all playable in survival mode, and we have a whole new mode coming out beforehand. And not only that, then we decided chainsaw. How do we make a zombie game without chainsaws? We got to fix that. So we got chainsaws, and then we also said, well, hell, let's put other melee weapons in there. So we have baseball bats, axe, and like right now we're showing we have a frying pan, my favorite. Excellent. And and this is examples of some of what's going to be in there. We also have incendiary ammo, which does what it says, sets zombies on fire, right? And that's just one kind of special item like that. We have a whole bunch more. We're just using it as an example here at the show. There's that kind of thing of like, wow, this isn't a little update. This isn't something you would do piecemeal. This is something that's this whole full big product on its own. We want to release it that way. Is it different for Valve? Sure. And I think the pretty good first reaction, I understand that, right? I totally get that kind of reaction. As a consumer, if you would tell me Left 4 Dead 2 is coming out, yeah, it's kind of confusing, but then once we go to it, once we start showing people it, once we start telling them everything that's in it, then it makes a lot more sense, right?
So with this game coming out, does that mean that you guys are done adding on to the first Left 4 Dead? Are you just pushing straight forward to the sequel now? So
because we're schizophrenic and not very good at doing it this way, we actually, next week you're going to hear us talking about the updates we have coming out for Left 4 Dead 1. We still have a new update in the full release of the SDK. The SDK's in beta now. We have the full release coming of the matchmaking that'll include community mapping. And then after that, we still have some 4 versus 4 matchmaking. And so that's like an interesting thing that we saw. We all play Left 4 Dead a ton. And one of the things we see in community maps is we see what's called pub stomping, where a group of 4 friends goes and attacks random people because we didn't give that to their credit. We didn't give them a good way to play another team of 4. We want to fix that, so we want to get 4 versus 4 matchmaking, right? And a lot of Left 4 Dead 2's design is about making sure the best way to play the game is the funnest way to play the game. And so, like in here, we're playing a new kind of crescendo event where you just don't sit in a corner and battle off zombies and melee. You actually have to move and go on, and that comes from partially the passion of the team and the excitement of like people who have been thinking about it, fall through Left 4 Dead 1 and now Left 4 Dead 2, and our ability to just kind of go on that and be able to make these changes to the director to let that happen.
Have you guys thought at all about sort of allowing the 2 games to be unified, like have servers that run like all the maps from both games? Like, are the changes too profound to mash them together like that?
Well, so how this release is going to happen and how that's going to have Left 4 Dead 1, we haven't decided yet. As Doug put it, there's a lot of different elegant ways we can do it. I just can't pronounce that. But what that's going to end up being, we're not sure yet. One thing we do know for sure is we want to make sure that everyone making a Left 4 Dead 1 map now, or campaign now, it's still going to work in Left 4 Dead 2. You'll be able to start Left 4 Dead 2 up. You'll have the new creatures automatically. You have the new weapons. You'll have all of that in the world. Now, if you want to do some of the new director stuff, or some of the new little ways that we control item placement and stuff, you can go redo it and add that. But you can also just leave it exactly the way it was and it'll work.
Yeah, cool. So I read on a competing website that
Do they exist?
Not in my world.
Anybody go
Not in my world.
someplace
But,
different than giant bomb? I don't think so.
I doubt it. Basically, like I've read that this is set sort of like, so you guys had your initial storyline. It's like, 2 weeks or whatever after infection. This one's like another week after that. It reminded me that you had this great sort of contextual fiction in the first game where you didn't like spell out what was going on, but stuff written on the walls and stuff left behind, you kind of could piece it together. Are you guys going to expand on that sort of method of storytelling, or are we going to find out more about what's going on in the world?
Yeah, we'll definitely expand on that. So we're going to start with these 4, and we're going to end with these 4. And we have this cohesive story of their travel. They first meet at the same time as you meet them. They meet the infection the same time you meet the infection, and they're going to take it all the way to their eventual salvation in New Orleans. In that journey, each campaign's still a standalone movie that tells a very distinct story unto itself, but connected. We connect them, and we'll let you know what's happening between them, why they're here, why they're going there. And it just gives you a little bit something more for the people who want to bite into the game that way. We want to give that, but we don't want to stop up the gameplay with cut scenes or these long narratives. We want to keep it dynamic and flowing and fluid like the first one. But we've expanded out our tools for storytelling inside of that role, right? And so right now, if you play Left 4 Dead 1, as you play it, you'll hear some things you've never heard before as you keep playing. And now we're just making sure like that kind of variation comes also from location and from how well they know each other. They don't know each other's names at the beginning, right? There's this kind of movement that happens as you go across the maps and play them.
Cool. Who is the Lewis of this game? Like, who is going to be the fan favorite character with the best lines?
See, I don't know, because we also have Francis, people like them, or if you're in a grouchy mood, everybody likes Bill. Yeah. And everyone likes Zoe too. It's a tough one. Right now, just people playing today, a lot of people are liking the Coach.
Yeah.
Coach is a great character, and also equally the mechanic. He's the fun-loving, younger Southern guy. One of the things, I'd actually lived down south in New Orleans for a while. A bunch of guys in the team are from the South, so I think people first have this reaction to make this really bad stereotype of the silly. And it's like the Ellis character, the mechanic, is a really good example. He's a fun-loving, good guy, and it's like you want to be around him, you want to hang out with him, you want to be his friend, and you're going to play the game with him, right, as his character.
He's the kind of guy who's going to tell you when there are pills here.
He's going to be excited. Yeah. Oh, they're all going to tell you when there's pills there.
Very good. All right, thanks, Chet.
All right, well, thank you.